Okay, we're going to talk about organizations in Prosper. What is an organization? And how Prosper handles multi-organization. If you remember from our access, we said you can prevent or allow a user to enter into Prosper, or enable or disable a user to enter into Prosper from the system level. From the beginning, when he logs in, the system will tell him that you're not allowed, means you can enable him or disable him as a user to enter into Prosper, into whole Prosper. Okay? Or you can, on login, after login, check his IP and decide you don't want to allow him to enter except from a certain IP. Okay? That's on a system level. The second level is called organization level. And we will talk right now about organization level. This is what we're going to talk about right now. The third thing, we said it's about user menu. You decide what are the objects inside this user menu that you assign to the user, and you can protect that user menu, you can protect each one of them. So if an object inside this user menu, the user can see it if he has access to it. Okay? And on an object by object level, at object level, you decide, do I have access to this object or you don't have access to this object? Once I have access to this object, on a row level, do I have access to every single row? Access or filter on every single row. And on a function level. In Prosper, it's not only who can see what when, who can do what when. The do means the function, the see means the data, and the do is the function. So on the function level, and some functions like progress and reports have sub-functions like what are the reports and what are the progress paths that we can do, which is called, that we call it here, a sub-function level. Okay? Now, we're going to talk about organization. What do I mean by organization? Organization, Prosper allows in the same database multiple organizations to share data and share the same database. For example, if you have multiple business units in a group, all of them do invoices, and all of them do projects, and all of them do orders, and all of them do timesheets, right? Well, they need to share. You don't want to configure the order or the invoice for different organizations. It's the same invoice, but the organization is different. The structure is the same, but the data is different, right? So we came and we said, let me start with a PACE user, the PACE user table, where we define our users. And the user table, it's a Prosper table, so it has the UID as a column. It has many attributes, but one of the attributes is called organs UID. Okay? Means when I create a user, I have to select what organization does he belong to. So there is an organs table with UID, name and other stuff, and this UID is where I take it and place it here in the organs UID. Okay? So when I create a user, I decide what organization does he belong to. Then the project table, also it's a Prosper table, so it has a UID in the middle. It has so many attributes. One of them is called what? The organs UID. Why? Projects belong to organizations. Means if you belong to this organization, you see projects of this organizations only. Okay? Now, one more thing. We went to document table. Since we see documents at top level, sometimes we see documents at top level, means at system level, okay, before selecting the project. I want to show you only the documents that belong to your organization. Also here, it's a Prosper table. It has a UID at the first column, has so many other columns, and it has the Organ's UID plus other columns inside it. Okay? Means every document that you create, it depends who you are. I know what organization this document has. Okay, to what organization this document belongs. This is where you will find the organization. Means if a user enters, for example, if you see the standard item table, it does not have an organization UID. Why? Because standard items are usually generic lists that are shared across all organizations within the group. Think of it as a holding, and the organization is a business unit inside this holding. Okay? So when you define a vendor, that vendor information should be shared across all business units. If you define an employee, this should be shared across all business units. If you define a customer, it should be shared across business units. Maybe this business unit does not do business with this customer or with this vendor, but that doesn't mean we don't share this information, because that information, if it's managed in one single place, it's much better, less duplication, and more common knowledge. That's the common knowledge. But projects and documents are not common knowledge. My projects, these are my projects, the project of this organization, and these are my documents, the documents of this organization.